Network architectures, services, and standards. As an IS auditor, it's very important to be aware of the different network deployments, topologies, and logistics that are out there. That begins looking, first of all, at how we classify network infrastructure. Now, one of the ones that was kind of the earliest was the dedicated circuit. We call this symmetric telecommunications. Basically, it's dedicated line, often referred to as a leased line, where both sides of the connection have often what we call an always-on connection to one another. These can be telephone connections, they can be over the internet, or data connections. We typically have these early on in the ARPANET between, let's say, research groups or universities and government agencies. A circuit switch network is going to be on an on-demand basis. So it's not a permanent connection between two nodes, but basically on demand using some logical addressing. There's two types of switch circuits. One's what we call a circuit switch, which is what we see in the plain old telephone service or ISDN, and what we see on the internet, packet switching. Traditionally, packet switching used things like ATM, frame relay, SMDS, switched multi-megabit data services, and X25. There's also a couple of methods for sending signals over communication links or communication lines. One of these is called baseband. And with baseband, we typically have a half-duplex scenario where only one communication channel is running at a time. With baseband, our signals are put into the communication link, whereas broadband will have different carrier frequencies within the same channel. A good example of broadband is, let's say, your cable company, which can offer you television, internet, and other services within the same band. There's also different types of networks. Now, kind of the smallest network we could possibly create is a personal area network. That's a PAN. We typically extend about 10 meters or about 30 feet. These can be wired using FireWire or Universal Serial Bus, but often they're using Bluetooth technology or infrared technology. The most common type of personal area network that you'll see today is a Bluetooth PAN. Local area networks cover a limited scope, for example, a floor of a building or an office or a campus. LANs have typically higher data rates. They typically use Ethernet and use gigabit or 10 gigabit Ethernet. There's wide area networks, basically covering a broad city or a metropolitan area or a nation or even internationally. These typically have lower speeds than local area networks, and usually WANs are set up for an entire organization, for example, a multinational company, and use service providers or telcos or other cloud providers. WANs can also be wireless as well. Storage area networks are a type of local area network that's dedicated to connecting storage devices.